Today's segment of SoundBalming is brought to you by Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care. I cannot express to you how much we love their products. Although we use them all year, as the weather gets colder, we need these products even more. The dreaded drop in temperature, the dryness, the itchiness, and the unnecessary flakiness is inevitable. Shea butter from Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care is the only thing that works for my skin and hair needs. Not only do these products cure my dry skin, the whipped butter goes on smoothly and doesn't leave that uncomfortably thick, sticky residue. Bonus? It smells absolutely amazing. There are so many different scents to choose from too. Not only do they carry skincare products, there are products for authentic living, face, shower, hair and beard, spritzers and perfumes, and bath products. Let me tell you, we cannot even keep the stuff in the studio. The entire production team as well as all our children use Jimmy and Mary's product. Jimmy and Mary's take pride in creating quality, handcrafted products from simple ingredients for the entire family. Their products are made for all skin types and are 100% handmade, 100% vegan, and 100% cruelty-free. Skincare is important. Moisture is key, and keeping our skin and hair hydrated is essential. I cannot emphasize how much we trust Jimmy and Mary's for all of our skincare needs. Hurry on up to jimmyandmarys.com and check out their products. Did I mention service is fast and efficient too? Don't forget to mention that you heard about Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare on SoundBalming. Use the discount code SoundBalm20 to get 15% off. That's SoundBalm20 for 15% off at Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare.
Hey everybody, welcome to SoundBalming. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bombs. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
LaMarr Darnell Shields.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time of the day it is. I'm so excited you decided to hang out with me in the bomb shelter. Welcome to my show. I am Dr. LaMarr Darnell Shields, the creator of SoundBalming. And my goal with this show is to introduce you to people with ideas that will help you unlock your full potential. And if you're joining us today, this is our special edition of SoundBalming, our medium psychic month, where we bring on my good friend, Barbi Dahl, who is an amazing medium and channeler who is going to talk about some great things. And we want you to stick around because we want you to participate in this conversation. And we also want you to let us know how we can support you. While the idea of connecting with the supernatural realm might conjure up images of gypsies and crystal balls, those stereotypes don't hold true to the modern psychic, nor do the reality shows involving these ghost hunting clairvoyants or sobbing celebrities communicating with dead people. Although skeptics are quick to debunk psychic abilities as pseudoscience, I am not one of them because I am a firm believer of psychic abilities such as clairvoyance, telepathy, and intuition, and aura reading. And just to name a few, I've also been told that I have a very similar gift, like we all do, but don't go too fast. Barbi will talk about that. To get a glimpse of the reality of a working psychic, I invited my good friend Barbi Dahl, a California-based medium, to SoundBalming to hang out with me. And we have developed this amazing relationship where we now have decided once a month to bring people into the bomb shelter, to hang out with us, to talk about all the things that are happening. Barbi's sole purpose is to bridge the gap between the living and the deceased in order to bring comfort and closure, and some level of hope. If you don't believe me, listen to what some of the people have said about Barbi and how they benefited from some of her amazing, amazing readings. Let's check this out.
Doing a reading with Barbi is honestly the ultimate healing. Not only can she connect with past family members that have passed away, but she can also connect with animals. And she connected with my Shih Tzu that passed under kind of mysterious circumstances. And I was able to really find closure. And it helped me with my grieving process. And he was honestly my first, child. He was my furry child and part of the family. And that was a big part of healing and being able to move on and adopt another dog and kind of move forward with life. So, healing and grieving and moving forward. And that's a big part of what Barbi does and she's able to help you with. So I highly recommend, if you're thinking about a session with Barbi, to go for it. And you're not going to regret it. You're going to find something that she's able to help you with, and it's going to help out greatly.
Working with Barbi is impossible to imagine. But in that impossibility, she's able to take all of your thoughts and provide them to you. Cover all of the things that you could possibly want to know and things that you had never imagined or dared to ask. It truly is transcendent of anything that I've ever experienced, and I'm still appreciative that she shared this gift.
Barbi is food for the soul. I had a reading a few weeks ago that offered specifics, clarity, and closure. By far one of the best readings I've ever had.
I think the greatest gift I ever received was during a reading with Barbi. She helped me reach my grandparents that had passed. And honestly, being able to get a message from them just one more time helped me heal and also strengthened my thoughts about the other side. So I would highly recommend a reading with Barbi. It absolutely changed my life.
Hey, Barbi, welcome to SoundBalming. How are you doing today?
Good, Darnell. Thanks for having me on again.
Well, I'm so honored that you decided to join me today. Barbi, you probably see it quicker than I do. We have so much going on in this world, from poverty to police brutality to COVID. As you can see, I'm wearing my shirt, War on Justice. I am so sick and tired of what's happening across the country, of unarmed people that look like me who are being shot by the police. So I've been having this conversation all week. I'm hoping you are going to shed some light. Maybe you're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel of what's going on in this world. Do you ever just tap into the things that are taking place in the world? And then how do you respond to all the nonsense that's going on around us?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously information that I get pretty often. And the thing about it is that with discomfort comes growth, right? This isn't everything. And so right now we're in the stage of huge discomfort. You're rattling people's chains who don't want to change, right? So they're uncomfortable because they don't want to hear about it. You're seeing discomfort of the people who are being victimized by it. But through this discomfort will come growth, and we can't have the growth unless we go through it. So although it's extremely painful to a lot of people right now, a lot of people energies are drained, they're exhausted. It just seems like it's never ending. And then you throw COVID on top of it. It will get better, but we do have to go through this transition so that we can come out ahead and not keep repeating these constant patterns that we've been in for so long.
Yeah, this is a lot. I mean, this is heavy, not only just on my heart, but just every person I talk to, from young people to old people. I'm constantly having conversations in Zoom rooms, work with educators, working with people in the nonprofit world. And we're talking about issues around equity, race, coaching, class. Mm-hmm. And even though I see a level of growth, every now and then when they turn that TV on, then it's almost like they take 2 steps back after my partner and I have made some progress. Do you have any suggestions for people who are constantly watching not only just television, listening to the radio, social media, watching the news, do you have any strategies to get them to disconnect to what's going on around them?
Well, I would say, remember this, that you are the energy that you're watching and that you're around, right? So that stuff is going to make you depressed. So simply for your own mental health, it's important to turn it off. And plus, we also have to remember that there's different views on everything, that, you know, a lot of that stuff is driven for monetary purposes and things. So we don't necessarily have to take every single thing that they're saying to heart. But, you know, you want to stay informed as well. So you have to be very careful about how much time you put into it. And remember that all that stuff's being absorbed into your, you know, into your aura, into your world, into your energy. And then you have nothing left for the people in your life. So it's really important to turn that stuff off and make sure that you're giving yourself the time to regenerate.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you and I have come together to have these conversations. I feel like this is a gift that I'm giving to my listeners. So any listener that's out there who wants a reading from Barbi, or if you want to be a part of the SoundBalming show, this is a great opportunity. I'm telling you, get your pen, get your pad out, be open to what's about to happen, because I think Barbi and I, this group, the two of us together, are coming to shake up the world. A lot of people are being healed, Barbi, from coming into these spaces. Not anything that I'm doing. I'm just being a conduit to it. You know, you have a gift, I have a gift. But we decided to bring these gifts together to then give some clarity and a level of hope to what's happening. What I'm loving about these conversations, that when people leave these calls from hanging out with us, there is this level of hope. People, they send us some great responses. I love what we call after the show is over, when the show ends, where people don't get a chance to hear and see what's going on, and people stick around and they give us some of their comments. This stuff is real. I mean, I always say I don't really understand spirit, but I believe in what's going on. I'm a believer, and I hope that you are too a believer. So what do you have in store for us today before I introduce our new guest? Anything you're feeling right now about these people in the room?
Well, so let's not go to the people in the room just yet, because it's kind of interesting that you brought up the whole energy thing and what's going on in the world, because the conversation I had with Spirit when I, you know, sat down with Spirit to talk about the show was exactly that. They wanted to go over how we pull our energy back into ourselves, how we center ourselves. So when we do get the people in and we get started, before we go into each reading and all of that stuff, what I would like to do is just talk in general about how we center ourselves and we pull back all that negative energy. And especially when you're sensitive, like you're sensitive and I'm sensitive, and a lot of the people who are going to be listening to this show, they're empathic. They feel the energy of everybody out in the world. And so we really just, Spirit really wants to teach us how to recenter ourselves. This is a big topic of conversation. Every single time I'm tuning in with them, they just keep wanting me to tell people how to recenter themselves. And so because of that, I actually designed a meditation that I channeled with them. That is a centering meditation that I'm just going to offer for free to anybody who goes to my website. And so I'll give the promo code and all that stuff at the end of the show. But this is just something that we all should be doing as much as we can, especially with what's going on today.
All right,
and
so
I do want,
go ahead.
real quick, I wanted to share, because a lot of people, they don't get to see, like, you know, the comments that we get, and we don't share everything after the show. And we're always getting updates, right? Because I'm talking to people, and sometimes things don't make sense to them at the time. And then they'll send us updates. They're like, that was really cool. Like, I didn't know. I talked to my mom and, you know, she confirmed all these things and stuff like that. But we actually had an incident with the last show where Spirit kept telling me about something about somebody getting shot in the face. And I kept talking about the face. And it didn't really make sense to the person who was on the show, because she had somebody who was passed away, but they were shot in the stomach. And so it wasn't like really clicking with her. But in the same moment, at the end of the show, they brought another message in to tell her that it was related to somebody in her family. And after the show, we got a phone call and found out that was actually not. That was a premonition that less than a week later, she knew somebody who was actually shot in the face who was related to that person in the family. So sometimes the stuff on the show doesn't always make sense at that moment, but I can tell you that Spirit's always right. And so it's great to be able to give updates. It's sad that happened, but they were able to deal with things a little bit better, knowing that they already had love on the other side.
Yeah, I love the after the show comments. I love when people email you or they email me and say that they were blown away. So you ready to bring on our guest to the show, Barbi?
I don't know. I have butterflies, so I don't know what you have in store for me. I don't get nervous, and I've got butterflies.
All right, let's bring our people to the room. I'm so excited that we have some folks joining us today in the SoundBalming studio. We have an amazing group of people who decided to hang out with us today. I see 3 of them. I see 2 of them right now. I see Lisa and I see Nicole. I think Quinn is in here somewhere. Quinn, if you can join us with your camera on. I just want to say welcome to SoundBalming. Listen, you all were invited because you listened to our show. You heard about the things that we're doing. Once a month, we offer our listeners an opportunity to sit down with an amazing medium. This is my good friend all the way from California, Barbi Dahl. We've developed this amazing relationship, and I'm getting a chance to watch her do her work, will actually be used in a way that really just blows me away. So I just want to encourage you all who are in the room, get your pen, get your pad, get your phones together, and just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. And I think I said to you all, if you have 3 questions that you want to ask, do that. Barbi is going to get started. She's going to talk about the process and what it means. And as she's talking, she's going to be having this conversation. I think I said this to one of you all. Imagine walking into a room of people and there's a lot of conversations going on. And you're trying to disseminate whose voice is that, who's talking. If you hear her talking and something that is said that really speaks to you, then you open up and say, I think that you're talking about me. So you all ready? You sure you're ready?
Yes.
All right, let's get this party started. Put your hands together for my friend all the way from California. Hey, if I have some Tupac, I'll play some Tupac right now. If I don't, put your hands together for Barbi Dahl in the building.
Thank you. Thank you. I know nothing about you. Just we'll start off there, right? Even to your name. So now I know there's a Nicole. What does the L stand for in your email I'm trying to get your name?
Lisa.
Lisa. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Like I literally know nothing about you. Okay. So a couple of different things, like, I usually kind of tell people like how I work, and I'll do that in just a little bit. But there were a few things that I wanted to kind of talk about that I felt like you guys would understand on the information that I get, you're getting too. Okay. And so one way I was trying to figure out how to describe mediumship, which is when we're talking to spirits on the other side, right? People who have passed over. What does it feel like to me when they're there? And so the best thing I can say is, have you ever been somewhere and you feel like somebody is behind you and then you turn around and nobody's there? That's what it feels like to me. That's also what it feels like to you. So when you feel like somebody's behind you, you feel like somebody's stepping in your presence, and then you turn around and nobody's there, be open to the idea that there's actually probably a spirit there with you. That's exactly what it feels like. It feels like somebody's intruding in on your space. You're like 3-foot roll people. And then, that's what it feels like. Okay. So I want you guys to be open to that now. So in the future, just be like, okay, who's that? And ask and see. Do you get a response? Ask in your mind. You don't have to look like a crazy person now, outside, but ask in your mind, who's that? See if you get an answer. They will talk to you. And if you can feel them in your aura, then you're sensitive enough to talk to them. Okay. So that was one thing they wanted me to talk to you about. The other thing is that in mediumship versus being a psychic. So a psychic is somebody who will kind of basically step into your energy and then see past, present, and future. Mediumship's 100% dealing with spirits that have crossed over on the other side. So what you'll see is I will usually start off in psychic work. We'll work on you. And then if somebody wants to come in on the other side, then I'll step back into that. You'll actually feel, I'll like stop what I'm doing, step into that, because it's 2 completely different things. Okay. And then the spirit wanted me to talk to you guys about just energy in general, because like Darnell and I were talking about earlier, the world right now has so much crazy stuff going on that if you're on this show, my guess is that you're somewhat empathic, which means you feel other people's feelings. And if you do, then that's super draining. So do you guys feel like you feel other people's feelings? Like you can walk into a room and you feel like the room, and if it's like deep and dense versus if it's light, if you meet somebody, you're like, ooh, they're moody or whatever the case may be, that's draining. And if you do it all the time, you feel drained, right? Especially women, we're caregivers. So you're doing that all the time, then you're draining your own energy. So what we want you to do is take time every day when you feel drained, and instead of focusing your energy out, focus it in. So just sit and feel your own energy and learn to pull it back in so that you're not constantly being drained all of the time. Okay.
I'm rolling, Barbi. I'm looking at Man, Lisa got a notepad ready. She is she got her game face on. And then I'm looking at Nicole. She's like, I'm just taking all in. Lisa's like, yes, I need this. I need. Okay, we rolling already. You just getting started. Go ahead, Barbi.
Yeah. And so for you guys, when we're finished, I will give you the information on my website. I'm going to be recording a centering meditation that Spirit gave me, and you guys can have it for free. So just download it. And this is just something you can listen to, like whenever you just feel overwhelmed, just turn it on, listen to it. It'll be like, 5 minutes long. It'll recenter you so that we can get back into our lives. Because I don't know about you, but I feel drained lately. There's a lot of stuff going on and everybody's pulling energy all the time. It's just like, I feel like I need a nap every single day. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
right before we started, but this is what scares me about her. I took a nap right before I started, Barbi. So when you just said, I feel like I needed a nap, maybe I took my nap for you. And I like naps, but it's kind of hard to start all over when I take a midday nap. I feel like it takes my energy, but it's interesting that you would said sometimes you do feel a nap. You need a nap. And when we were kids, think about this. When your parents told you to take a nap, you thought it was the worst thing. But as you get older, those adult naps are a gift from heaven above. So I appreciate you saying that.
And I want to remind you guys that, again, so what I do, I just practice more than you. You guys can do this too. And so it's important for you to learn, well, if you want to, but I would suggest learning that you have these same abilities. And another example of that would be like, I'm sure both of you, because they've told me this is an accurate statement, have thought of somebody, and then all of a sudden that person calls or texts you. Yeah. That would be a premonition, right? So you have the same abilities I have. I just use them more often. So these are things that like now you can learn to start trusting because they'll start guiding you in your life. If you have the ability to think of somebody and then all of a sudden they're calling or texting you, it means that you were already picking up that energy coming to you beforehand. So you have the same things that I have. So that means that when you're in a situation and you have to make a decision, trust the part of you that tells you what to do versus the part in your mind that's telling you what other people want you to do. Okay. And for some reason, I just feel like it's super important that it's females today. I don't know who the other person who's supposed to be here, Darnell, but the other person's not on. But I feel like it's important that it's females, and it feels like it's going to get heavy for whatever reason. So if y'all drain me too much, it's going to be a problem.
Hold on, so can I just jump off the call and just let you all do your thing?
Bye.
I'm the co-host of the show. You can't kick. How you gonna kick me hard? See, she's getting ahead of herself. Maybe you saw something from the spirit world, but I honor when you do make those statements like about the female energy and who needs to be here is here. So I definitely do receive that, but I ain't leaving.
Yeah, of course. We love you. All right. So Darnell asked you guys to have 3 questions for me. But before we get into your questions, do you have any questions about what I do just in general? Anything about like the spirit world, psychic work, mediumship, anything like that?
No.
Have either of you seen somebody like me?
No, I wanted to at one time in my life, but I never did. I was kind of scared, skeptical of doing it, but I wanted to reach out one time.
Okay. On psychic, I hate the word psychic, just so we're very clear on that. I feel like it's like voodoo, right? It's like weird. But we'll say intuitive stuff. Understand that what they usually will show me are different pathways, right? Because we have what's called free will. So I can tell you something, but it really doesn't make a difference if you use your free will and make a different decision, right? So if you have a question on something, you can always ask somebody like me, what does it look like if I do this? What does it look like if I do that? So to help you make a decision, right? Versus just going one direction. So that might help you on some of your questions that you brought. You don't always have to be straight to the point. You can always ask, look at it this way or look at it that way. It feels to me, just so you guys know, that they want it to be more of an intuitive reading versus a lot of times we do a lot of mediumship with people who've crossed over. I don't feel that we're going to have a lot of mediumship this time. It feels like it's going to be a lot of guidance, just so we know that ahead of time. But if somebody does come in and wants to talk, then I'll, of course, talk with them for you. So who would like to start with one of their questions? Lisa looks like she wants to start. She's got a whole list over there.
One question that I guess because it'll be on the 30th of this month, it's going to be a year that my mom passed away. And last year, when COVID had first started, the nursing homes had closed down in February. So I hadn't seen my mom since like January of last year. And the Zooms that they were showing half of the time, it wasn't, it was just too much. And she really didn't understand. But my mother, like on the 30th of April, I had got the call at 12:15 a.m. that my mother, had passed away. And I think till this day, even though I go to grieving counseling and stuff, I still feel that, I want to know, like, if she suffered, because she had COVID. She did catch COVID at the nursing home. Did she suffer? Did she call out for me? Because normally when my mother would get sick or she just didn't want to take her medicine or something, the nurses would call me because my mother would cry at night and she would call for me. So they would call me up. So I just felt, and I'm struggling with it a little bit, that day she was crying for me, and I don't know. I just want to know, she's at peace. Does she cry for me? Does she suffer? Because I don't know.
So towards the end, what I hear is that yes, she was having a hard time with it, mostly because she didn't know what was going on, right? So there was a lot of confusion, didn't understand what was going on, couldn't understand why she couldn't talk to who she wanted to talk to and stuff like that. All of that being said, she's at peace now. On the other side, she's at peace. And all of those things, they don't carry them over. They don't carry over the illness. They don't carry over the pain. All they do is they step into like imagining stepping into like just pure love, right? So for her thing now is more of your peace of mind, your peace. So she doesn't want you to continue to go in this like circle in your head of all of the things you coulda, shoulda, woulda done, because there was one, nothing you could do about it. And two, she doesn't have that pain and she's not suffering anymore. So it doesn't make it, the end for her here on earth isn't her end. So it wasn't like her final days. She was, in pain or suffering because they weren't her final days. It's just the final days of her having a physical body. Now she can be in this place where she's free of all of the suffering that she had in her body towards the end of her life and gets to just enjoy being in existence with you without all of the physical pains that she was in towards the end. Okay. So it's hard because you didn't get to say goodbye the way that you would have loved to say goodbye, but she's still there. So it's like, even though it feels like there was a goodbye for you because you can't see her, there wasn't a goodbye for her because she's still there for you and she's still there with you. Do you understand? Yeah. So she didn't suffer the way that you think in your mind that she suffered, because she just continued just with outside her body. Okay. Do you understand what is the part as soon as you started talking about your mom, I got like a sick stomach. So what, do you understand why she would make me feel like I had a sick stomach? Was her stomach very sick towards the end?
She had stopped eating. My mother had dementia. So she had stopped eating, like she was diagnosed with COVID on, I think it was like April the 16th, my birthday or something. And they kept calling me and told me she had stopped eating, but she had stopped eating for a couple days. She wasn't, and they didn't know whether it was like from the COVID or just the dementia, because sometimes, she would go through days where she didn't eat anything. And we were trying to get her, with the Zoom, I would be talking to her, trying to get her, to eat so they wouldn't have to put the tube, back in her and stuff like that.
So what she's saying with that is that the reason why she didn't eat is for you to understand it was uncomfortable for her to eat. Her body didn't feel good when she ate. So it wasn't that she had dementia and she didn't want to eat and she couldn't remember to eat. It's that what it did is it made her feel sick to eat. And that was just because her body, again, was like deteriorating and towards the end of it. But she doesn't want you to feel like even if you were there physically in person, should you have been able to be there, everything would have gone that same way that it went before. She still wouldn't have eaten. She would have had a hard time. She would have struggled with what was going on and remembering things and stuff. So your physical presence, although she would have loved to physically have been able to touch you, she didn't suffer more because you weren't there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that helps. Actually, she says to tell you that now that she's out of her body, she's grateful because she doesn't have to suffer anymore. So she's relieved in that aspect. And it's hard because you can't be with her physically, but her pain is gone.
I believe that. I believe that.
Yeah. She touches her heart. So she shows me her touching her heart. And that's her sign of saying love to you.
That's how she was from her stroke. Mm-hmm. She couldn't bend her hands down. So she always like this. Mm-hmm. And I would come in and I would massage her fingers, and I was always able to open her hands up and, massage and, and everything. But she always laid with her hands up like this because of the stroke she had. She couldn't move. So
they show me stuff like that, just like random weird stuff for confirmation. So you knew that it was like her talking, right? Because if I was like, oh, she says that she told you all the time she loved you, you'd be like, no, she had a stroke. That didn't make sense. But if she shows me she's touching her heart, that's like a confirmation that I'm talking to her because you know that that's how she was. That's what she did in this life, right? So that's just a confirmation for you.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what I thought would be kind of interesting, if you guys are okay with it, for some reason this time they kind of want me to teeter-totter back and forth between you to share kind of the space and time, because what they're showing me is something circular with you. So something's going to come up that's going to be similar in both of your cases, not cases like you're not at the hospital, but you know what I mean, both of your lives. So if it's okay, then we'll see what Nicole's next question is. That'll give you a little bit of time to absorb that, and then we can get another question for you. Perfect. Okay, Miss Nicole, you got to unmute.
Thanks.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing. That was beautiful. That was deep. To be quite honest, I didn't have very many real questions to bring.
So can I say something? Because that's not true, is what they say. It's this. This is what they told me as soon as you came on. They said she has a hard shell. So you put a hard shell out, but you're soft on the inside. So you have questions, they tell me. It's just that it would bring you into a vulnerable space you don't want to go into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. But see, this is your time. And so this is your time. Right. And, albeit maybe 20 million people one day might watch this if we're really famous, but right now it's just us, right? It's just us. And this is your time. So it's time to just crack that shell open because you have messages from spirit, and it's the best way to receive them is when you have somebody who's a conduit for you, so that you know that they're not coming from your own mind, that you're not making stuff up in your own mind.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess my first question would be, am I fulfilling my purpose?
Not to your ability. So you hold back out of fear. It's like, I would love to say you give everything 100%. You do a good job, but you don't give everything 100% for fear of both failure and success. And it's like, if I succeed, then what? Right? Because failure feels like you're comfortable with, like, you'd be like, okay, I'll just pick myself back up and do it again. But success is scary because, oh my gosh, if I succeed, then what? Right? What does it look like? That's kind of scary. So to answer your question on your purpose, it feels like you have like you're not going for your goal, like what you really want, because you're afraid of succeeding. So can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like when you say your purpose, if that answered it, one, and then two, like what more would you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I guess the past year, I've just felt like stuck. And so I've always had this feeling that I'm supposed to serve and help. And, just in general, be in that kind of space with people. But it's interesting you said, you feel drained. I feel like that all the time. I was exhausted in the waiting room waiting to meet with you. I was just sitting here like, breathe, Nicole, just breathe. So I don't know, I guess.
So you do serve in that capacity. Mm-hmm. You're that person for people. So let's take money out of it, right? Because people always associate, am I serving, doing my purpose in my career or whatever the case may be, right? Let's take money out of it. Let's just talk about in your life. Think about all of the people that you're constantly serving in your life. Don't you think you serve enough? Mm-hmm. So where do you feel lack? Why do you feel lack? Because they show me that you're serving already.
I guess it's the success. Like, it is that fear of success and money. That's mm-hmm. always been a fear. Mm-hmm. Like feeling comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And if I have it, what happens if it's taken away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that goes back to my question, like, where's that lack? So why would it be taken away? These are where it gets like down deep, right? Like where inside of us do we feel like we're not worthy that this would be taken away?
I come from a background of, like my family did have money and then they did lose it all mm-hmm. and had to start from the bottom again. And I would say the majority of my family is still struggling. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
But that's their journey, not yours. Mm-hmm. Because you're strong and you already have what I can see as like a path to where you want to go. The only person who's stopping you to where you want to go is you, right? Like they show me, when I say they, that's like the spirit world, my guide, your guide, stuff like that. They show me them like lining up like breadcrumbs. Like here, I'm going to take you and give you a breadcrumb here. So you'll follow the path that you're supposed to go down. And then I'll give you another one there. And then you're like, cool, I'm going down the little path, getting my little breadcrumbs. And then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know if I want that breadcrumb. That's scary, right? So, but you've been eating all the other breadcrumbs. Like keep going. Does that make sense? I mean, I know it's like a silly analogy.
No, I guess I just don't know where I'm supposed to go. I guess
follow yourself.
That's it.
Where you're supposed to go is where you're led, right? You're being led in your path. You just keep pulling back every time you start doing well. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
It's like, mm-hmm.
So I want to go with Nicole because I'm writing questions for both of them to help move the process. Because Barbi started out with the question and you said you didn't have any question, and I'm sure when you answer this, Barbi's probably going to already take you there. Why were you so hesitant to ask a question?
I had the fear of like the number 3. I don't know why. Just like I have this small amount of time. How can I break it down to just 3 questions? So I think I've been struggling with that. And I don't want to miss something.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
There was supposed to be 3 people on this show. You were given 2 people, so you had more time for your questions.
You right. There were 3. Like she gets me all the time. And I'm sitting there like, there was supposed to be a 3rd person. Mm-hmm. And so this is an opportunity, as I shared with you all, for you to be where you are, because Barbi can sort of sense, from what I know, a lot of the things that you're holding on to. And I think as this is like when I'm doing work on self-care, I always tell the people, I said, this is an opportunity for me to pour into you. We're not going to debate about school issues. We're talking about let me pour into you and just sit back and go for the ride. And so it's interesting that you did say the number 3, and there was supposed to be 3 of you all. And then, mm-hmm. and then when she said, well, why don't you have any questions? And the reality is there's some questions running around in your head that I'm sure it's just like, do I want to really know the answer to that? Because it may take me in a different direction.
Right. And that's the fear that I was talking about. So I know when you were referencing 3, you were talking about Darnell telling you get 3 questions. But my point is that now there's not 3 people on the show, so you get more than 3 questions, right? So that's not a big deal. We've moved past that. But where it comes to is they're showing me a part of you that doesn't want to know the answers because 1, then you can't ignore it, right? Like you can't put it on the back burner because you're like, dang it, now like I know that like I can't just keep pushing it aside. And that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Then you actually kind of have to act on it. And if you don't act on it, then you even feel worse.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's give you a second to really think about, because your question about what's my purpose, I get, right? But you already know, like you're serving. So that's that question you're already serving. There's a grander purpose as far as career goes that you have questions on. But let's give you a few minutes to kind of think about that. We'll go to Lisa and then we'll come back and see if you could find the place in you that has the real question that you want the real answer to, that even if it's scary, it's okay.
Okay.
Deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Miss Lisa, you're up.
You're doing great, Nicole. Go ahead, Lisa.
Unmute yourself, my love.
Okay, there we go. I think with a lot of females and probably males too, you know, they always probably ask you the question like what their future holds for them and stuff like that. I didn't want to ask that question because, you know, I've always been told that, you know, once you pray and you ask God for something, leave it there and you just kind of like go on with your life. And if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't happen for you, it's not meant for you, you know, something like that. So, you know, like in my prayer, I don't always, you know, ask for stuff all the time, you know, and especially not a mate, you know, being 51, you know, it's like I am content with my life, you know,
you have a mate coming. Is this your question? You have a mate coming.
No, she danced right. Oh, that was so funny. This is so funny. She says, I don't usually ask these questions, but I don't really want to know the answer. Yeah. But is there some that is again, if we could just say where we are, like this is what I want, this is where and I know in the world that we're in, because both of you all work with young people, you work in the field of you know, a lot of people have a lot of stuff, and you do this in your real job. You're asking people to do this, but now there's an opportunity for you all. And could Lisa, you just dance. Well, I don't want to really ask about a mate, but if he's out there, let me know. And I prayed about this, but I should just let it go. And then you just did the happy dance when she said, "There's a mate that's coming." And so
and I can tell you, yeah, sorry,
go ahead.
I can tell you where you meet him too. You meet him in the gym. He's a very well built man. He takes pride.
Hold on, Lisa.
This is why we just look. I'm a straight shooter. You got to be a straight shooter. Just ask your question, right? But yeah. So you meet him in the gym. Okay. He's very well built. He takes pride in himself. I would say he's 2 or 3 years older than you. But he is extremely healthy, as far as like his he's healthy in his, what I would call what is it? Like hygiene. So he's very hygienic is what it shows me. Like he's it's very important for him to be very clean and smell good and take care of himself and look good and feel good and eat well. And, he's prideful, but he's also like not a know-it-all. So he's prideful in the way like he is proud of who he is. So he's confident in himself as a human, but he's the nicest person because he is kind and loving, and you will know immediately that he's not going to play games. He's not going to be like, oh, like maybe we can go out. He's going to be like, no, I want to go out with you. When are we going to go out? Like, we're going to go out. Like, you're mine. Like, we're going to go out. Let's go out. Like, you're not going to question, does he like me or does he not like me? How come I don't hear for? It's not going to be like this whole game. It's going to be very much, he knows what he wants. He's going to go after it. It is what it is. And you're going to actually learn to submit a little bit because you don't submit well. You're going to learn to submit a little bit because you're going to feel like he's confident enough to take care of it.
And submit is not a bad word. I know in this time.
No, it's not. And I say that because before my mother got really sick and this was like around like December of 2019. Her and I were we were talking, and she said to me, before I die, she said, I want to see you happy. I want to see you married again. You know, she was going on and on and on. And I was like, yeah, whatever, okay, Mom, whatever. And so when I prayed with her one night, and this was still in December 2019, because she was doing bad at one time. And I had said in the prayer to her, I said, Ma, when God comes down, take his hand. I said, because my mother, it was 6 of us. And she always was worried about me all the time. And I said, I'm okay. I said, even though I don't have a husband, that person that you want to, you want to see, I said, but I'm okay. I said, pass your torch to me and allow me to just, help take care of your grandkids and so forth. And I said, I got this. I said, I have a good job now. I can take care, myself and, the other half of the family. I said, but I got this. And when she passed away, I said, damn, I'm not even married yet. I was like, I felt bad for some reason,
You couldn't have him while your mom was alive. You didn't have the space for him while she was alive. Do you understand? And in fact, she actually thinks it's amusing because she feels like she gets to play the matchmaker, just so you understand this. So this makes her happy because she feels like she's actually the one who's pushing him towards you. So she is guiding him. So to answer this, she's guiding him towards you. So when you meet him, and you'll know exactly when you meet him who he is. She's funny. She's giving me goosebumps everywhere. When you meet him, that's her gift to you, but it's also her way of saying that I am here to see you enjoy this, even though I'm not physically here. Her being able to push him into your life is her gift and her way of saying she is actually there. You don't have to worry just because it didn't happen when she was physically here.
Right, because I wear her time right here around my neck. Mm-hmm.
And understand that when you meet him, you will know. So do not search for him. He is going to find you. She will push him towards you, and you will know. You won't have to go, is that him? You won't. It will be like, boom, I will know. You will know it just like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't happen that often. So that's why it's like, and it feels like there's not even like I don't even feel like you guys argue, except for that you're stubborn. Outside of that, he's okay because he thinks it's cute. So you're lucky on that aspect. But it just feels very, if I were like to use the word like heaven sent, and because it is, right? Because it's being guided towards you. But it's your time now to enjoy that. And I don't feel like in any way, shape, or form you would have been able to enjoy that before.
Yeah, I don't think I would have neither, because it was so much, because I started off being her caretaker until I couldn't do it by myself anymore. So I don't think I could have did that and then maintain trying to get my daughter through high school and all that type stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, like, again, they show me what he looks like, and you will feel like you are he's big, right? So you're going to feel like for the first time in your life, you're protected. Like you have somebody who is big and is going to be there. And it's like kind of like reminds me of like a linebacker or something like that, who's just going to push the people out of your way so that you can go on with your life and be happy and feel like you're good, right? Like he is going to push people out of your life that are not healthy, just so you understand this. So you'll see this happening. But it's because he has amazing instincts. He's not going to let the people that are around you that are suckers, like they're like drainer energies, drainers, everything drainers, he's not going to let them around. So do understand that.
Did Barbi just say suckers? You're not going to have a sucker around you. You hear that?
I didn't say sucker. I said suckers.
Wow.
But you're not going to have a sucker either.
Wow, this is deep. Okay.
Okay. So we'll let you absorb that. And then we're going to go back to Nicole now that she's had some time to sit with it and she's got butterflies in her tummy and she doesn't know if she wants to talk about it or not.
Yep, I do. That's so funny. So my question, I'm a big like worrier. I just worry about everything. I'm always worrying about everything. Like, I guess my question, like, are my kids going to be good? Are they going to be healthy?
They're going to be horrible. All children are horrible. No, I'm kidding. I have 2 of my own. They're always a pain in the butt. No, they're going to be amazing. You're a great mom. And when I say they're going to be amazing, they're going to be amazing in their own way. They're going to be, they show me rambunctious would be a word that I would use for them. I love spirits words because I never use this stuff in real life, right? But they like the word rambunctious. They're going to be challenged in some aspects. They show me father challenges. Okay. There's going to be times when they're lost a little bit, but you're their guiding light is what I would tell you. So as long as mama's happy, they're going to be happy. Right. Mm-hmm. And so as long as you keep yourself in this place of like internal harmony, which is what you struggle with, right? Because you always feel like a failure is what they're showing me. Like you just constantly feel like a failure, but you're not failing. You are exceeding very well and excelling very well. But it's like they see when you do that. Okay. And so the reason why I'm telling it to you this way is because I'm using mom guilt. Okay. Because this is the only thing that will work for you, they tell me. So I'm guilting you as a mother that you have to start loving yourself a little bit more and valuing yourself a little bit more because they're watching you. And that's going to determine how they see the world. Okay. So you are strong. They will be strong. They will be healthy. They will have normal people issues. They're going to veer here, they're going to veer that way and stuff like that, just like normal people do, right? But altogether, you have built a really good foundation for them and a safe place for them. And your spirit side of it. So your spirit side of it's talking to me. So we all have different guides. You have your own guides. Your guides are telling me is what they really need you to do though, is own who you are and be proud of it because they're watching you. And that's what they need is to own who they are so that they can be proud of themselves. Okay. So you're a good mom. Like that's not a question. It's a statement, right? You're a good mom. Trust that you're a good mom and that you've made really hard decisions in life so that you could be a good mom to them and allow yourself to feel good about being a good mom. Instead of like criticizing everything you could have and should have done or may not be able to do or may not be able to provide or whatever the case may be, they want you to step back and be proud of the mom that you've been to them so that they can also see like that pride in you and then they'll have it too in themselves. Because when they look at you, they see themselves. So when you're like nitpicking yourself, they start nitpicking themselves. Again, mom guilt. Sorry, don't mean to do that to you, but it's just because it's the way that you'll be able to process it. Because you're such a good mom, you would never do anything that would hurt them. So if that means that you have to take care of yourself so that they take care of themselves, that's the best way to get you to take care of yourself, right? Is for me to explain to you, if you take care of yourself, that will make it better for them and they'll value themselves more.
Okay. Is my current relationship like keeping me from doing that?
Yeah, it's not healthy.
Okay.
Sorry, but it's not healthy. They don't feel safe in this relationship is what I hear. They don't feel safe to be able to express themselves. They don't feel like they are being heard. They don't, by the way, don't share the link to this, obviously, with the person in your relationship. That would be fun. But they just don't feel, and they don't feel that you're being genuine to your own happiness in this relationship. So what they show me is you almost like this, you're not a coward, but cowering down to this person. So you want to make a decision. This person says, no, I want it this way. You'll step back and do it that way instead of the way you know is right. And this is the stuff that's hard on them, because they want you to own yourself, because they know that you're right, that actually the way that you want to do it is actually the way that would have been done the better way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say that if everybody has free will and you make whatever decision you want to make, one, this relationship isn't your best relationship anyway. So even if you took the kids out of the picture, this person doesn't treat you the way that you need to be treated. It doesn't respect your strength, and actually is what they show me, intimidated by your strength. So it's almost like wanting to squash it. Okay. That's not what you need. You need somebody who wants you to be picked up.
You got her open now, Barbie. I want to elevate something that you said, Nicole, and I'm so proud of you followed up, because I wrote this down. Barbie was doing a reading, and then she said, father challenges. And then she kept going. And then what I appreciate that you did, which is showing your level of growth, you came back and you asked a question about, is what's happening with my children, is my relationship affect them? Because I circled that. I wish you could see it. It said father challenges, because I wanted to see where that was actually going to go. And Barbie didn't have to go back. You actually brought it up yourself and said, is my current relationship affecting that? And you know, we don't know why we end up in these spaces again. You know, I hadn't spoken with you in a while, and you know, Lisa, it's just you never know why you're here. And so while you were talking, the beautiful part about me being here is I'm listening and writing my own notes, because I want to just ask, not for clarity for me, ask a question for clarity for you all, because Barbie is constantly, it's like you turn on a water faucet and she keeps flowing, but then I'm hearing something, and I just want to elevate and celebrate the fact that you came back to something that she mentioned and then moved on, but you brought it back just for a little clarity.
So, Nicole, what I would love for you is if you could see yourself the way they see you.
When you say they, who's
your
they?
Kids? Your kids, the way they see you. Yeah, they see you as like. It makes me want to cry because I'm a mom. Sorry.
I knew I shouldn't have been in this room today. I'm leaving.
I told you it was about women. You should get out.
I should have left when you said spirit was like the third person was not. I like to add a little fodder to this because it can get heavy. But go ahead, Barbie.
They see you as perfect. And they just want you to see yourself that way.
Now
I definitely struggle with that. I'm always trying to, just take it one level up, one level higher. And every action, I'm always constantly thinking of like, what if I do this, or if I say this, how this affect them in the future, or, this decision. So it's definitely hard for me to make hard decisions too.
Do you think what we would quote unquote call a bad mother questions her decisions, or do you think that a bad mother just does whatever she wants? See, the way a mother knows she's a good mother is she's constantly questioning whether or not she's a good mother. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like again, not sending this link to my mom, but I feel like my mom was always very quiet, very timid, didn't really stand up for us in a lot of things. Not necessarily bad, just didn't really speak up, didn't have a voice. And so I've always felt that I needed to be that person for my kids.
But you also have to be that person for yourself. It's not enough just to be it for them, because you're teaching them how to be a human. And the only way they can learn how to be a person and a human in this world is to mimic what you're teaching them about how you treat yourself. It's like, what's that saying? Monkey see, monkey do, right? It's not what I say to you, it's what I show you. So as well as you're amazing at making sure that they see this could have been done this way, this I'm doing my best and stuff like that. They need you to also see that, they need to also see you honoring yourself. And one, by removing yourself from an unhealthy situation, right? Knowing that you're strong enough to take care of that, your everything on your own. Your fear of, what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about it? You don't need any of that. You're strong. You'll take care of it all. And just honoring the things that make you happy, right? Because your whole life also too is not devoted to just them. It's things that bringing back in the things that bring a smile to your face, because outside of a little here and there, I don't see you smiling a lot either.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely true.
So I would say if you leave here today and you take away anything, I would say we'll give you, pick 2 things that you have and that make you smile, that you enjoy doing or whatever, whether, even if it's just listening to music, while you listening to a certain type of music, or going out once in a while and dancing when things open back up, or whatever it may be, whatever brings you a little smile, adding those, making sure that you're taking time to add those to your week every week, even if it's just for a little bit of time.
I have like this weird connection with like sunsets and the moon or sunrises. It just feels so good. So I do have, like, even if it's been a crazy day, like I'll try to sit on my patio and watch the sunset or something.
And enjoy it. And then because you're a mom and you want to make sure your time is well spent with your kids and stuff, invite them to do that with you if you want to too. If you feel like you're for some reason neglecting them that day or whatever, invite them to just sit and enjoy that space with you, because that's going to be replenishing to them, just to have that space watching you in that space. But you don't have to share it all the time, right? Because you need it by yourself too.
Mm-hmm. And Nicole, I want to add, sometimes you have to be your biggest cheerleader, and know that your soul is rooting for you, that in order for you to be the best for your own children, you have to sort of pour back into yourself. And it's interesting. I was watching while you were talking to Nicole, and I don't know what Lisa dipped off to. Lisa was sort of shaking her head, I guess, in agreement as it relates to this whole piece about being a mommy. And this is going to fall within our Mother's Day edition of our show, because it's going to come out in May. And, not being a mom, I've never heard that, but I can only imagine what that feels like. And then for Nicole to go back and say, I thought about my mother. I felt like she didn't root for us and she didn't fight for us.
No, she didn't root for herself. Let me clarify, right? Herself, because it felt like your mom took care of you guys. She didn't root for herself.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you remember that, right?
Yeah.
That's what you think of when you think of your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your kids to think of that?
No.
So you got to root for yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not selfish. So the next thought they show me is, oh, you think it's selfish. It's not selfish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that.
And what were you going to say after that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just, like, is there someone else? I mean,
of course,
this is all I know,
Yeah, of course there's someone else. There's absolutely someone else. But you can't have someone else when you're putting energy into somebody that is unhealthy, right? So there's many someone else's who are given so many opportunities. It's not like everybody thinks that there's one person who's meant for them. And that's not the way that it works, because we have free will. So we're given many different opportunities to find people for ourselves. But as long as your energy is put into somebody who's not for you, you can't have who's for you. You're not going to meet the person for you and then be able to leave the person that you're with to go with that person. That's everybody's hope, right? Like, oh, I'll just stick this out till I find the right one.
I think we all been down that road. All of us been down that road.
Right, but you can't, your energy is already split so many ways, taking care of so many people. You couldn't find somebody else if your life depended on it right now, because you don't have the energy or space or time to do that. I can tell you, though, that they do show me that should you choose to remove yourself from the situation that you're in, you're going to need time to heal before you go into something else, at least 6 months, they say, because what you don't want to do is repeat patterns of who you're picking. This is a common theme with women. We pick the same people over and over and over again. And you can't pick somebody different till you know different. You can't know different till you give yourself enough time away from what you're used to know what you really want and appreciate and value and all of those different things.
I love that. As you were talking, I was thinking about a quote where it says, Nicole, and this is for Nicole, and I guess for Lisa as well. If you don't heal what you hurt, then you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. And so if we don't take care of our own selves, and then we jump into another relationship while we're trying to balance ourselves, like what say about Lisa, like Lisa wanted, let's say I wanted a significant other, but Lisa really admitted, like, I really had time for my mother and myself. And so it would have been a barrier between you. Maybe this guy would have been in competition with your mother, and that probably wouldn't have worked out because you're going to eventually choose your mother over this person. So you can go hang out in the gym with Lisa any day you want to, virtually. Work out with her. Maybe that person has a cousin.
Well, I guess that's not entirely what I meant. I guess I was just like if this isn't the place I'm supposed to be, am I supposed to be somewhere else? Goes back to not the purpose, right now. My purpose question,
So to answer that question, not right now. Right now, where you need to be is with yourself, right? Okay. Right now, what you need to do is you need to find your bearings in your world where you feel like you can make decisions for yourself without somebody second guessing everything that you do. And so your person, by the way, is not at the gym. Your person's like a dog park person, like somebody who is just like kind of randomly cute. And you're like, hey, that person's kind of cute. But like in like a spot that's like a dog park, like they have a dog, so they care about something, right? Like, so that they care, if they care enough to take their dog to the dog park, they care about their dog more than, somebody who just leaves them at home and puts them in a kennel or something like that, right? So that's your type of person. You have to be able to see that they're already carrying towards something significant like that. Your person doesn't have kids, by the way. But so that's why it's like, I say the dog part, because you need to see how that person treats something else so that that person is going to be safe for your kids, because you have to be able to correlate that person being a safe person for your kids.
Okay. Thank you. That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're a good mom. And I know it's hard to hear that sometimes, right? Like, it's like, oh, thank you. And then I'm going to push that over here and I'm not going to listen to it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wish I could like make you stand in front of a mirror and say, like, to yourself, where you can physically see yourself and say, I'm a good mom. And believe it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to say it to ourselves a bunch of times before we believe it, right?
So that's your task today, Nicole, is to do just that. That mirror work is real. Some people call it shadow work. Some people call it mirror work. And some people aren't ready to step into the mirror and take a look at themselves. But what I'm hearing Barbi say is you're there, is to say it over and over again until until it really sinks in. And I think that you are, but I think maybe some other people might have told you something different and you sort of fed right into that as well.
It's not some other people, it's the person that she's with. Makes her feel less than she is. So she can't, I'm sorry to like speak for you, but the way that I feel is that you can't even build your confidence up because you're squished every time you get a chance. Right.
Why does it feel like this, sometimes?
Because of the game on their side. It's like, if I keep doing this, you're not going to stay, right? So I'll give you a little bit of breathing room. As soon as you feel like you're getting up there, I'm going to squish you back down. Give you a little bit of breathing room, squish it back. Nobody's staying if they're totally down all the time, right? It's a game. And it is not a subconscious game. It's a conscious game. So it's a decision being made. It's not like it's accidentally being done because something happened in my childhood BS crap. Okay. Like it's a true act of knowing that's going on.
Okay.
And you don't deserve that. You for sure don't deserve that. And if you can't make a better decision for yourself, then look at it as what am I showing my kids?
Mm-hmm. Whew, didn't think I was gonna feel these feelings.
Yeah.
So now it makes sense why you didn't want to ask those questions, because you're having to go down this road and then having to not only answer Barbie's question, I really think it's really answering yourself those questions. Because again, we can pose them, but I think when we ask ourselves those questions that we typically already know, it can be somewhat challenging, but can also be freeing, because then you can hear someone else's voice and say, "This is what I'm feeling." But I don't want to articulate that way. So it may take somebody else to pull it out. Like when Barbie said, "I don't want to speak for you, but this is what I'm getting from you."
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's definitely not my strength, So that was helpful, just pulling it out. If you feel or hear something, like just saying it, because yeah.
But it's okay too, because there's a place, and where the fear, I feel like the fear comes from is that sometimes when things are confirmed, now we have to act. And so as long as it's not confirmed, we can kind of like let things slide. But once it's confirmed, we have to act. We don't have to, we have free will. We can continue to stay. That's an act, right? That's acting on it, continuing to stay, or making a decision to remove ourselves is a different way of acting, right? But either way, you have to make a choice. So if you make no choices, you're making a choice to stay. And if you make a choice to leave, then you have to make a choice. But you have to make a choice, right? And that's why it's hard to ask these questions, because of that now dang it. It's like, dang it, now I got to make a choice, right?
Yeah.
And no choice is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So
but you're loved and supported by, this is for everybody, but specifically so you understand you're loved and you're supported by the universe. So whatever choice you make, you will always be taken care of. Sorry, Darnell.
No, I was going to say, because we have 15 minutes left. Two things I want to sort of elevate, and you're already doing it. What are some strategies? I'm hearing Lisa talk about Lisa talking about her mother. So what are some ways that Lisa can engage her mother in these conversations about sort of where she is? And then what are some strategies that then Nicole can take back to really deal with some of the things that she's actually focusing on as well? So
Lisa, you just talked to your mom like you did before. Okay. So like they showed me even when you weren't talking to your mom, you were talking to your mom, right? Like you were having conversations with your mom in your head, and then you'd have conversations with your mom. So just keep talking to your mom the way that you were talking to her before, because she'll respond back to you. You'll understand and know that it's her, because she'll feel different than what you feel like when you respond back to yourself. Okay. So just trust that. But your mom did a good job raising you. So you can be confident in the decisions that you make, because you already have that solid base and that foundation from that she gave you. So you already know when you make a decision, whether or not she would approve or disapprove, or what she would say or wouldn't say. So all you have to do is just remember that whenever you feel lonely, you can just reach out and you can just talk to her just like you used to talk to her. If you want to unmute, do you have any more questions on that or anything like that about talking to somebody who's passed over, or how you can communicate and get a response back? But you got to unmute.
Oh, there we go. No, I think I the things that you said, made me feel real good. I got clarification and the part about my mom that was really sticking to me a great deal, because I think because I didn't get a chance to just say goodbye, give her my hugs that I normally give her before I go home, or, you know, give her that kiss. So, you know, it was just really on me, real heavy, you know. And I don't know. I just, you know, I don't think that I have grieved yet, because I've been everybody else's crutch right now. I'm trying to hold my daughters up and my sister, just everybody, you know. I haven't had that moment yet. And it kind of feels like a little weird, because I look at other people's process and grieving, and they've fallen apart and stuff. And I don't feel that, you know, I don't.
You're going to grieve when you meet your person. See, the reason why you have this person coming into your life is to give you that space to grieve, to have somebody to hold you when you need somebody to be held, when you feel like you need to be held. You don't have anybody right now that will hold you. You're going to get somebody who's going to hold you. You'll find as soon as you have that, you'll be able to grieve. So you will have your time to grieve. You just don't have that space right now that somebody else is giving you the strength, right? You're giving everybody else the strength. Your mom shows me that you hold something of hers and pray with it or sit with it and like think. She's okay. So she's saying that she's, whenever you need her to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That just no, I mean, she's always with you, but that's like a very intense like way of connecting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sending out the alarms, like I need you. But you will have your time to grieve, so don't worry about it, because you'll have it. You just don't have it right now because you don't have the somebody stronger than you. But you will.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to cry like a baby. But you'll need it. It'll be good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Final thoughts for Nicole?
So what did you want me to say for you give me like things to do. I'm like, you do know who I am, right? Like, like I don't plan anything. You just have to say it again.
So you're providing Lisa with some strategies to engage her mother. Nicole shares some very intimate things about where she is. What are some things that she can do to work on herself? You already gave her a couple of them. There's some other things that she can do to work on herself.
Stop working on yourself. That would be it. Stop working on yourself. You're fine just the way you are. Yeah. So just the thing to do to work on yourself is stop working on yourself and appreciate yourself. You're perfect just the way you are. Even if
that's really deep.
And understand, even if you choose to stay because you make that personal choice, this is something that you just feel like is best at the moment, it's okay. Whatever choice you make is okay. What's important is that you honor yourself and value the beautiful person that you already are. You don't need to keep doing work. Nothing else needs to be done except for to sit and be in the beautiful person that you already are, the beautiful mom that you already are, the beautiful, beautiful friend, beautiful everything. So if I would say, what is there for you to do? It's to do nothing, to stop doing and just be.
Yeah, I needed to hear that. Stop doing.
Mm-hmm. So try to just catch yourself when you like go on to the next thing that you need to do or the next thing that you should. I love this saying. I learned this thing and I love it. I say it all the time now. Stop shooting on yourself. So stop shooting on yourself. Stop shooting on yourself, right? I should do this. I should do this. Just remember, like, I just keep it in your mind. Like, I'm shooting on myself right now, you know, because there's nothing you should be doing. You're already doing so much.
Okay. Will someone take the load? Like, do you see someone helping me take the load off? Just in while. General. Okay.
And it's because, well, one, you wouldn't let somebody right now. Okay. So you're not open to that. Because you don't trust somebody to take the load off, because Because if you had to trust them to take the load off, there's a chance that they could hurt you, hurt your kids, disappoint you, disappoint your kids. So it will come later when you have built up yourself enough to where you can give yourself enough to somebody and trust again.
Okay. And in general, just my whole family, I'm like that light, like you said, for the whole family. Do you see anyone else helping out with all of that?
Yeah, you just have to ask. What they tell me is you don't ask. Okay. And ask and not like ask like nicely, but like ask and mean it. Like, I need help. I'm asking you to step up to the plate and help me.
Okay.
Not, do you mind helping me? Da, 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 da. Right? That's a different kind. Then they're gonna have no problem saying no because you said it so nicely. Right? It's the, I need help. I need you to step up to the plate right now. I need help. I don't ask for help very often. I need it. And so I need you to step up to the plate.
Okay. And I guess my final question would be, do you see anything about my grandmother? Anything about her?
The spicy grandmother? I would call her spicy. It's spicy. She just wants you to get a little bit spicy. Yeah. She wants you to think of her little like, oh wow, she's like a little feisty thing. She wants you to be a bulldog in some ways is what she says, right? So she wants you to remember that part that because she's the opposite of your mom is what she's showing me. So she was spicy and like verbal and like, like I'm not putting up with this crap type of person. So she wants you to, instead of looking at your mom and the way that your mom handled things, she wants you to kind of take a page from her book and value who you are, because she valued who she was. She had no problem with that, right?
Yeah.
So just that would be what she says.
Okay, and she's fine. She's okay.
It is the most beautiful place in the world, and we will all be much happier when I say the world, but in life, they're always fine because it's pure love, right? And so I know, like as humans, we want to know and make sure that they're fine, but they're way better than we are because they don't have all these human struggles. All they want is for us to be happy. So yeah, she's fine. She just wants you to put a little spicy, get a little sassy.
It's so funny you say that. The last time I saw her was Mother's Day weekend. She had brain cancer, and I was assisting with like giving her a bath, and she hadn't spoke in a long time since her surgery. And she like basically essentially cursed out the nurse because she rolled her over like 12 different times. And that word like stood in my mind. Like I was like, okay, she's still here. She's still feisty.
Yep, she is.
Yeah.
She is. And she just it's like, if she's showing me, like if she could just take a little bit of her confidence and pour it into your cup, she would. So when you need to tap into somebody to give you a little bit more strength, tap into her.
Okay.
And she tells me she would not put up with the bullshit you put up with, by the way. She wants to be very clear on that.
No, she wouldn't.
Yeah. She's like, she says you're a nicer person than she is. Or was. But yeah. But to your own detriment, that's said with love.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Then again, I'm going to let you close out with the final thoughts about next steps and how people can get in contact with you. And if you want to say anything else, this was like the Mother's Day edition, the crying fest. I'm in here. Why? I feel like Oprah, like it's the Oprah. I feel like the little brother who's in the room listening to his sisters have a conversation about being a mother and enjoying every bit of it and feeling it. So before Barbi talks, I just want to thank you all for allowing us to share your stories, allowing us that we can honor your story and that you had enough faith in us to really listen with you. So I'm hoping that what we shared is going to benefit all the other people that are here, but more importantly, to benefit you. Barbi Dahl, you want to close out?
Yeah. So I asked them what they want me to say, and it goes back to what Nicole was saying. It's easy for me to see you for who you are, right? Because I'm not judging you. What they want is for you to see yourself the way that I can see you, the way that the people who love you see you. So if we can leave today with that and remind ourselves when we're being hard on ourselves that we don't need to judge ourselves so much, so we just need to love ourselves just like we love other people who are imperfect, right? We need to love ourselves too. So I'm going to end with that. I'm going to thank you guys for allowing me here to be with you and be in your space and all your mix and get personal. For those that are listening and for anybody and for you guys as well, like I said, my website is Barbi Dahl. So it's BarbiDahl. It's kind of a little funky spelling on it. BarbiDahl.com. You'll see if you go on my website, I will be uploading a centering meditation. It will be a short 4 to 5 minute meditation that will just bring you back to center on those times that, you're hard on yourself or you just need some love and just need some, maybe the world's just crazy and you've been on social media too much, your head's everywhere or whatever it is. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. Just go on there, add it to the cart, use the promo code CENTER myself, CENTERMYSELF. It'll be free to you, free to all the listeners, and just take some time to love yourself. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for this partnership. I also want to thank my amazing engineer, Alexander Blanc, my super duper producer, Nicole Klimpaka, Supremacy for our theme music, and all of you for tuning in. Happy Mother's Day. If you want to know more about me, go to DrLDS.com. Make sure you subscribe. Share us with all of your friends because we're on every platform. And as I always believe there's something wonderful is about to happen, but some people miss the message because they're too busy looking for the mess, not you, because you've been listening to SoundBalming. Be blessed, take care, and peace.
I want to thank you, Barb, for giving me confirmation. Like I said, for years, I wanted to do something like this for everybody. I know that God gives us gifts, and some people be faking their gifts and stuff like that, with scams and stuff. And that's why I had always been scared to get a reading and so forth. And but tonight I felt, even when Darnell had presented it to me, I felt good about it. I felt that I had to get something out. And the things that, I shared and you shared back the responses to me, it was all truth. Like, I don't know about the man part because I got to see that part, but the stuff about my mom. And then when you did this, that just it really, really did something to me. You just don't know the feeling that just went through me because this is how she laid and she sat for years, So I thank you for allowing my heart to be happy right now because I haven't had that feeling in over a year. And I feel that tonight when I go to sleep, that I will not wake up at 12:15 because I've been waking up at 12:15 a.m., and I feel that tonight I can sleep at peace because I know that she is at peace, and I feel good. I can't describe the feeling that I'm feeling right now, but it's a really good feeling. And I thank you. Thank you for that.
I thank you for seeing me for who I am and for breaking through the shell. I will be more mindful of that. And thank you for confirming my fears of, just a mother, I'm glad that I can expect that they will be fine in the future. And
how could they not be? How could they not be fine? Who's their mother? Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to interrupt.
No, thank you. Thank you. And just confirming, feelings that I probably buried deep for a long time. And, have grown numb and just, I guess, didn't pay attention to. So that was deep as well. And listening about my spicy grandma, that's who she was. Mm-hmm. That was huge. And I do need to be more like her.
Hey guys, this is Barbi Dahl reminding you that I'm offering you $20 off of a 50-minute reading. Use promo code SoundBalming on my website, which is barbidahl.com. That's BARBIDAHL.com. Can't wait to hear from you.